Welcome back to the next episode of Comic Radio. I am Aiden.
And I'm Byron. And before we get started, the content discussed in this podcast is for commentary purposes only. We take the work of famous comic book stories and we narrate, voice act, and commentate on them. So you can go by your day driving, working, doing the dishes, or whatever you want to do throughout the day. Or if you're unsure about buying a book and you want to know what it's like before you make the purchase, you can listen here before doing that. All rights to the original works belong to the respective owners. Now let's dive into Fantastic Four, The Coming of Galactus by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, published by Marvel Comics.
Yeah. So, a little bit of information to catch you up just in case you don't know anything about the Fantastic Four. The team consists of Reed Richards, aka Mr. Fantastic. We've got Susan Storm, Invisible Girl at the time. She's now called Invisible Woman. She is Reed's
Very
wife.
progressive now.
You've got John, very progressive. He's grown up.
Yep.
We've got Johnny Storm, who is the Human Torch and also Susan's brother. And we got Ben Grimm, the Thing, who is Reed's best friend. Their origin story is that the four went out on a space expedition that went wrong. They all got hit with cosmic radiation, which gave them all powers. And those powers are Mr. Fantastic can stretch real good, Invisible Girl can make invisible force fields and turn herself invisible and all that good stuff. Human Torch can generate fire, control it, good stuff. And the Thing is a walking rock guy. So there's
I
that.
love that. But also,
So
it's kind of weird that Invisible Woman or Invisible Girl in this is
Yep.
It's I always, even currently, it's weird that she can go invisible and then also like do
Yeah.
other shit.
Yeah, she could throw that invisibility around, dude.
It's kind of weird.
Yeah. All right. Well, now that we got everybody caught up with
Yeah.
the Fantastic Four, we can begin the coming of Galactus.
Woo!
So, half of the issue, it starts with issue 48, called The Coming of Galactus. Half of the issue is a story about the Inhumans that has nothing to do with Galactus.
Well, who are the
and
Inhumans?
They're boring as all hell. They're boring as all hell. Doesn't matter. We don't got to worry
And
about
when was
them.
the
We're
story
skipping
made?
past that. This was it's in 1966, maybe.
Yeah. So
Let's find out. You do your
very.
talking. I'll look it up.
This is gonna be very, very word heavy. So we had to break down pretty much a lot what they're doing because in the '60s for comics, a lot of the time characters would just say what's already on the panel, and
Yeah.
it'd be very, very drawn out. And at the beginning of every issue, like I'll take Wolverine for example because I read most of his stuff in like the '70s and all that, but or I don't even know when was he in that Hulk comic?
I think that was 60s. I'm pretty sure it was
60s,
60s.
70s. But
Yeah.
whenever he had a solo series, he would like, for some reason, he would, in his thought process and everything would be, thank God I have that adamantium skeleton and the healing factor. And then like keep rattling off all of his abilities to like remind you what he's about. And
Yeah, they make sure you know what's going on.
yeah, so that happens a lot throughout this. So we said,
Yeah, so
there's
this
some
was
stuff we had to cut out.
1961. Yeah, it was 1961 when this came out.
Yeah.
But yeah, so first half of the issue, we don't got to worry about it. Has nothing to do with it. The part that we
Boring
get
as
interested
hell.
in is when
Terrible TV
Silver
show
Surfer
also.
shows up. Yeah, but we get into it when Silver Surfer shows up. First, we see him flying through space. He's dodging meteors and space debris, and he passes a home planet of the Skrulls. And on that planet, a Skrull is panicking, and he yells,
"Order the entire Skrull solar system blacked out at once. Hurry! The Silver Surfer must not make contact with our planet."
Despite this pure firepower that the Skrulls possess on their planet, it isn't just the Silver Surfer that they fear. It's what follows his arrival. We now see the Fantastic Four returning from their adventure in space, preparing to land. The Thing is looking out the window and he comments,
Hey, I don't think Earth is supposed to have two suns. Ben, please. I'm trying to focus on landing safely. Can you save your pranks for later? Dang it, Reed. I'm not joking around. I really do see two suns. Okay, what in the world are you talking about? Wait, there are really two suns. Is it just me, or is one of them getting bigger?
This second sun begins to get closer and closer, eventually creating a swelling flame over the skyline of New York. The team quickly lands their ship and rushes in to help the city. The citizens of New York are scared out of their minds, and Johnny doesn't help much. He is so eager to help that he doesn't realize that the entire skyline is lit on fire, and he himself is a flaming man. So the crowd starts looking at him and begins to yell,
Look, it's a Human Torch! The whole thing is his fault!
They begin to throw bricks at Johnny and attempt to douse him with water from nearby fire hydrants. It eventually works, and Johnny is back to his normal form and is holding onto a light post for dear life. The remaining 3 members of the Fantastic Four come swooping in, riding their jet cycle. It's basically a flying bike that seats the whole team. They fly in to save Johnny when Mr. Fantastic says,
I've never seen anything this crazy. People are rioting all over the street. It's complete chaos. Where's Johnny at? I can only imagine what might have happened to him. Hold on, Stretcho. I see him. I see him other there.
I meant over. That's my
God
fault.
damn it, dude.
That's my fault. My fault. Retype.
Hold on, Stretcho. I see him over there. He's in a scuffle with an angry mob.
Reed closes in on Johnny with the plan to stretch out his arm and grab him, but the Thing has another solution. Ben sees Johnny getting jumped by a mob, so he angrily hops off the jet cycle and crashes down to the mob while yelling,
It's clobbering time!
Most of the crowd is scared by the Thing. They get freaked out, they run off, except for one man who challenges him.
I'm gonna expose you for the phony you are.
The man steps in with a hard punch to the face of Ben. Thwap. Thing doesn't even flinch though. So the man rears his hand up for a second punch to the gut.
I'm still standing, huh? How about this? Ah, my hand!
Now it's Ben's time to return some punishment.
Don't you worry, tough guy. Your hand won't be hurt for too much longer.
Clink. Ben flicks the man on the forehead, knocking his head off, sending him airborne and leaving the man unconscious.
Jesus
But Ben
Christ.
isn't a super heart. yeah, but he's not a heartless man. He's not heartless. He's no monster. He rests the man against the wall, and he puts the hat back in his lap.
Oh, thank God. Sleep it off, pal. Here's your hat, too. You can't let everyone in the hospital know how much of a phony I am. Ben, look out!
Johnny points out that the sky is clear of all flames now. Both Ben and Johnny are confused and are hoping that Reed might have an answer. A moment later, the group meets up, and Susan is ready to scold Johnny and Ben for being so reckless. But Reed tells Sue that there's no time for lecturing right now. Johnny asks Reed,
You have any clue what's going on here? I'm not sure, Johnny. The only thing we can be sure of is that we are facing a power that is greater than anything we've seen before. Now hop on. I need to figure out this in my lab.
As the FF return to their home, the Baxter Building, we go back to the Silver Surfer. He's using the blast of a supernova to gain momentum. The Surfer is riding across shockwaves and rolling gases to build up speed as he's increasingly getting closer to the Milky Way galaxy. He eventually spots the sun and realizes that there must be at least one planet nearby that contains the energy and elemental resources required to satiate the great Galactus. Back at the Baxter Building, Ben is on the phone with his girlfriend.
Alicia, baby, are you okay?
Susan asks Johnny,
What does Reed expect me to do while he sits in his lab for hours? The flames are gone. The danger seems to be over. You think he'd remember his wife? Susie, can you keep it down, please? I'm trying to talk to Alicia.
Dude, I love it. You're gonna notice a pattern with how Stan Lee likes to write the women in his comics, and it's great.
Awesome.
Yeah. Susan turns on a monitor that's on the wall to talk to Reed while he's in his lab. She complains about being ignored and that he needs to shave. Reed responds by saying,
For the love of Pete, woman, are you really interrupting my work for this?
Susan begins to respond, but Reed cuts her off by turning off his camera. Rightfully angry, she says,
If he thinks he can shut me out, you're making a bigger deal out of this than you should be, kid. He loves you. He just has a job to do.
Johnny looks out the window and points out that the sky is filling up with thick space debris. There's so much of it that you can't even see the sky through it. It's got the attention of scientists who are sending up a helicopter to study the phenomenon.
It's as if an unseen giant is toying with us.
Back at the Baxter Building, Sue barges into Reed's lab. She's concerned for his well-being. She asks Reed to take some time out of his work to have dinner. But Reed sighs, looking down, and he says,
I wish I could.
Before they can finish their conversation, Sue hears a voice behind her. She turns around and notices none other than a watcher standing behind her in the lab. Which, quick little side note, quick tip.
Quick tip.
Watchers are an quick tip. Watchers are an ancient and incredibly intelligent race that dedicate their lives to observing the universe without ever interfering, and they're also all bald, so there's that.
Yeah, if you watch What If, you'll know what the
Yeah.
Watcher is.
Yeah.
Which, let me just say, fuck that show.
Yeah, no bueno.
That show sucks.
Yeah, no bueno.
No bueno.
The Watcher is there to explain that he is causing all the unnatural phenomena with a matter mobilizer. When he noticed that the fire was causing widespread chaos, he substituted it with space debris.
A Watcher? I thought you were pledged to never interfere. I think it's only right if the narrator voices the Watcher.
You want me to be the Watcher?
Yeah.
Alright.
That is true, yes, but this matter is far too dangerous. The Silver Surfer is on his way. He is a scout for Galactus. He is sent out to find suitable planets for Galactus to drain off all of its elements, leaving the planet unable to support life. That is why I am attempting to conceal this planet from the sight of the Silver Surfer. Galactus is the only being whose power is enough to match my own.
The Watcher continues to dump a ton of exposition on us for like a while, and says that the Silver Surfer has already reached Earth's moon, and it's only a matter of time before he finds Earth buried in the space debris.
Our moment of crisis is now at hand.
The Watcher wasn't lying, because shortly after the Silver Surfer finds Earth, he breaks through the debris and is hovering over New York City. Johnny notices something in the sky, and he flies over to investigate.
The Watcher was right. It's him.
The Silver Surfer, using his intense speed, flies past him.
Wait, where'd he go? Wow, he dodged me as if I was anchored up here.
The rest of the group rushed to the rooftop of the Baxter building, only to see the Silver Surfer standing there and shooting a beam of energy into the sky.
He has landed, and he is signaling to Galactus. We have already lost.
We ain't lost nothing, pal.
It is too late. The damage is done. We must prepare as much as possible to defend our planet.
The Thing doesn't waste a second. He marches over to the Silver Surfer,
You do your planning. I'm more of a clobbering type.
and BOP! He backhands the Silver Surfer off the rooftop. Not playing at all. He goes straight to business.
Cool.
The Thing is surprised by his own strength, however, as he didn't mean to hit him that hard. Reed scolds Ben about his temper, and Johnny flies down to save the Silver Surfer. The Thing is still shocked as he tells Reed,
I swear, Reed, I didn't hit him that hard. He bounced back like he wanted to fall.
That is because he did. A fall like this would never injure the Silver Surfer. It was the easiest way for him to make a departure. Forget about the Surfer. For now, the biggest worry should be Galactus. I sense his universe-spanning sphere entering Earth's orbit as we speak. He has received Silver Surfer's signal.
The sphere opens up to a symphony of flying aircrafts in the sky. They are all devices that test if a planet contains enough energy to satisfy Galactus. The Fantastic Four notice that all the devices begin to float back into the giant sphere as a ship flies towards the group. Reed realizes that Galactus is zeroed in on the location of the Silver Surfer's signal. With a loud rumble, the ship lands on the roof, and out steps Galactus, the devourer of worlds. He is a giant, towering over the group. Which he's also looking a little bit different than he does nowadays. He's green and red for some reason.
He looks really weird.
But he stretches out his hand and declares,
My journey has come to an end. This planet shall sustain me until it has been drained of all life. So speaks Galactus.
and that is issue 48.
Really
Or at least
good.
half of it.
Yeah, I
It's
mean,
really good.
again, we had to cut a lot out because the Inhumans suck, but
The Inhumans
I
suck.
do.
Yeah, they're not
I
fun.
it's one of the things I love, and I hope we see in the new movie. I love that they feel like a family,
Yeah.
and I love the back
Yeah,
and
it's
forth
great.
between all of them.
Yeah, I think Galactus' first appearance is funny because he's green and red, and he's never like that ever again. There's literally a single panel where he's standing there looking like a Christmas tree, and that's it.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden he goes to the design we know now.
He goes, he goes purple and maroon. At some point, they go more of like the purplish pink and blue,
Mm-hmm.
but he's maroon for.
But
a
he's
lot of it,
essentially like
yeah.
you could see him like that's Galactus.
Yeah, it's Galactus. Yeah.
Yeah.
For some reason, he just steps out and he's a whole different guy.
If you're
He has a
watching this,
G on his chest in this.
we'll put a picture of what he looked like.
Yeah, so the next issue is issue 49, If This Be Doomsday. We open with a shot of the Fantastic Four looking up at Galactus, who is now wearing purple, scared out of their minds. Though Galactus can reach unimaginable heights, he has shrunk down to about 12 to 15 feet or so, and he's standing right in front of the team. With the arrival of Galactus, only one thing is certain: the end of the world. Mr. Fantastic says.
Galactus has seen the Watcher. Anything can happen now. Stay back.
Susan Storm responds,
He's a giant, Reed. What's going to happen to us now?
and Johnny points out.
The Watcher is speaking back to him. He's acting as if they know each other.
And finally, the Thing says,
If we're gonna have to fight him, now would be the good time to choose a different line of work. I bet the big purple bozo could beat the Watcher with his eyes closed.
Then Galactus speaks to the Watcher.
So it was you who wished to conspire to hide the paltry world from the eyes of Galactus.
Heed my words, devourer of planets. The tiny specks of matter that inhabit this world contain intelligent life. You must not destroy it.
The FF are beyond shocked while eavesdropping in on the conversation. The Thing is angry about the way that these beings are talking about the human race, while Reed points out that both the Watcher and Galactus seem to be ignoring them, as if the Fantastic Four could do nothing to them. Galactus begins to look off the rooftop that they are standing on as he continues to ignore the Fantastic Four.
It is not my intention to harm humans. However, I must replenish my energy. If any petty little creatures perish as a result of the draining of this planet, it is regrettable, but unavoidable.
The Thing eventually chimes in and yells,
Hey, you oversized creep. If you think we'll just sit and watch you destroy the planet, then you're dead wrong.
Watcher, since you seem familiar with these puny creatures, I recommend that you advise them to hold their tongue before I erase them from their existence in one motion.
Beware, Galactus. These people are not as fragile as they appear, and the Watcher will stand behind them through this fatal day.
Then you would break your vow to interfere with the cosmic events? I know your power fully well, but do not forget that I am supreme. I am Galactus. This planet has all the energy that I require to be sustained. I will absorb this planet as I have countless others through the millennia that I have roamed the cosmos.
But all of the other worlds were dead. There was no ounce of life on them. There are billions of living beings on Earth.
That is of no concern to Galactus.
The Thing angrily interrupts them.
Now that's it. We'll make it your concern.
Then he cocks back his fist and whoom, unloads a massive right hook to Galactus' leg, yelling.
It's clobbering time!
Ben is beyond surprised when his punch has no effect on the Devourer of Worlds. But that isn't all. The Thing notices a small green capsule fall in front of him when Mr. Fantastic yells.
Ben, look out!
The capsule explodes, filling the area with green gas. The group is covering up, confused, when Reed suggests that Galactus use some sort of cosmic insect repellent. He then tells Ben to cover his face, and that he'll roll Ben away from the gas. Mr. Fantastic proceeds to wrap his body around Ben like a rolled-up sleeping bag. Invisible Woman says,
You're here, Reed. Follow the sound of my voice.
Susan helps guide Reed and Ben out of the gas, while the Human Torch goes for an attack on Galactus.
There's gotta be a way. Flame on!
Torch, no. He's way too powerful. Stop.
We'll see about that, Watcher. All I know is that no one's ever won a fight by hiding. So you think we're just some insects, huh, Galactus? Maybe this will change your mind.
I wish I would have counted it before doing this. There's gotta be at least like 20 bug comparisons that Johnny alone makes in this comic.
You have to.
There's so many times where he's just like, man, he swatted us like flies. Oh, I feel like a gnat. Man, he just made a mosquito out of me. Like the whole time he won't shut up about bugs.
Stanley's just flexing metaphors and similes throughout this entire
Yeah,
issue.
dude. It's all bugs. It's great.
It's
I cut
awesome.
so many of them out. So Johnny launches a projectile flame at Galactus, lighting his entire body on fire. To Human Torch's surprise, Galactus absorbed all the fire. The flames went away and Galactus' eyes started to glow red. He then directed the energy back at Johnny, shooting powerful beams out of his eyes.
I am annoyed by your puny gnats.
Johnny begins flying away through some nearby trees and thinks to himself,
I can't believe it. He made the actual electrons of my flame contract just by looking at me. Oh crap. I'm getting covered in soot and ashes. They're smothering my flame!
Johnny came crash landing down after losing control of his flame abilities. When Johnny lands, all he can think is,
what chance do we have against him? He took me out without an effort, and he's now turned his back to me. He's treating us as if we're no threat to him.
The Watcher tells Johnny to leave and meet up with his family, while Galactus says,
The Silver Surfer. Where is he? Where is my herald?
recalling the last issue, this isn't Johnny's first time hearing that name. He remembers the last time they met. Ben kicked him off of a rooftop. Later on, the Fantastic Four return home, defeated and discouraged.
Johnny, what happened to you on that rooftop? Now I know what a mosquito feels like when they get swatted. Galactus made a fool out of me. We have to do something about this. We can't just leave the fate of the world in the hands of the Watcher. He's not even strong enough to defeat Galactus by himself. Reed wants us to wait, Johnny. We need to take time and figure out what to do. Until then, get cleaned up.
Johnny directs his frustration towards Reed Richards.
What's wrong with you guys? Galactus is tearing up the city and you're shaving?
Hey, calm down, big head. We need to come up with a plan first.
There's no harm in taking care of yourself while you're thinking. You could use a shower yourself, Johnny. Just admit it, Reed. You're giving up.
Kid, if anybody else says that to me, I'm flattening them.
We were all in over our heads. We went with no plan, and look what happened. Stop thinking with your mouth and calm down.
At least we got some licks in, right? I mean, hey, I pelted the Silver Surfer off the roof.
Even though the fall didn't kill the Silver Surfer, the thing's hit definitely stunned him. He was laying on top of someone's roof, someone's skylight, as he regains consciousness. He opens the glass, and clack! He falls into Alicia's apartment. Which, quick tip, Alicia is the Thing's girlfriend, as established last issue, and she is also blind.
Also, what are the odds that out of anywhere in New York,
Out of anywhere.
he falls in
Right on her
the
skyline.
guy that punched him or kicked him off a roof? His girlfriend's place.
Lands at his girlfriend's house, yeah.
Yeah.
Alicia hears the loud crash behind her, and she wonders,
Did something just fall through my skylight?
she hears a soft groan coming from her couch, and assumes that whoever crashed through her roof needs help. Since she's blind, she begins feeling his face and realizes that he feels very different from anyone she's ever felt before. She begins to think out loud and says,
Is this a face of a man? It feels so odd.
and the Silver Surfer speaks.
A man. I am more than just a man. I am the Silver Surfer, the Herald of Galactus.
Alicia is understandably very confused by the things that the Silver Surfer just said, so she tries to voice her thoughts, but the Silver Surfer responds in such an emotionless manner. As they talk, Alicia learns that he is not of this world, and that Silver Surfer begins to explain.
Earth is but a twinkling dot, a paltry pebble, in the vastness of space.
Like a little weirdo, Alicia keeps feeling the Silver Surfer's face as she's talking to him.
So her hands are still on his face.
She has not let go of
That's
his face.
hilarious. And he's just taking it?
Yeah, he just, yeah.
Is he standing
going
up right
on
now or
about
is he
it, like-
still on the ground?
At this point, so he like crash lands, he's sprawled out
Yeah.
laying down, and she comes over, she starts feeling his face. And then he goes on his whole spiel as he's like sitting upright.
And
she's
she
sitting
just
next
hasn't
to him,
let
still
go.
holding his face.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So they're both like sitting upright on a couch.
Oh, great. Oh, he landed right on the couch?
Yeah, well, I don't know if he like crawled to it, but he pretty much damn near landed
it's-
right on the couch.
It's 60s writing. I think he landed right on the couch.
Yeah, directly onto it,
Yeah.
like perfectly sprawled out.
Yep. I never sensed such loneliness in a living being's face before. Okay. Weird. Weird sentence.
Yeah. Feeling bad for the Silver Surfer, she sets up the dinner table for him and offers him food and water, but the Silver Surfer is confused. He picks up a vase from the table as he says,
Eat. Do you creatures really consume these foreign objects? Galactus is right. The mysteries of the universe are truly endless.
yeah, you think she's talking about like a glass vase that's on her table.
Oh, so he's just like holding a glass vase.
Yeah, and he's like, this is what you eat.
Oh, okay, I got
That's
it.
his whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. We cut back to Galactus to see us atop the Baxter building. An abundance of objects are drifting out of the orb in the sky. He is building a tall machine that is attached to the top of the building. He's making something that will help and prepare the planet for his consumption. The device will turn all life in the world into energy for Galactus to absorb. Reed, Sue, and Ben watch the construction of this device and decide to take action.
That's enough. We can't let this go on any further.
The street's all roped off down here. Even the police don't want to get involved. I guess it's all up to us.
You're right. Susan, stay here. Ben and I will tackle him first. It's now or never. No, Reed. You can't leave me behind. It's too dangerous. It's an order, lady. Just in case Ben and I don't make it. You and Johnny will have to finish this. Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Dude, Reed's awesome.
Shut your mouth.
He's like, hey, you watch it, woman.
Did you speak when I said stay packed?
Yeah.
How dare you?
But before they could take another step forward, the Watcher appears in front of them and warns them that they are not powerful enough to face Galactus. The group begins to argue whether or not the three are ready to fight Galactus, until the Watcher cuts them off. He holds out his hand and basically creates a projector in the air, which the Watcher calls the Transy screen, I think.
Probably trans-eye screen, knowing.
Trans-eye screen,
Probably.
maybe? Yeah, whatever it is. It's like a finger projector.
Yeah.
He begins to display the effects of an elemental converter, which is the machine that Galactus is currently building. The Watcher then breaks down what the elemental converter can do.
Within a matter of minutes, every body of water on Earth will be dried out. It will then target the cities and harvest any energy within them. It will cause the greatest mass evacuation in history, but sooner or later, there will be no place left to run. The elemental converter will turn the entire globe into a lifeless, desolate husk. And once the Earth's core is drained, Galactus will depart, leaving behind nothing but a few fragments that serve as a reminder of what was once an inhabitable world.
The group stands there in utter shock at what they just heard, but it's not all bad. The Watcher has a plan. He explains to them that there is a machine that can save the human race. The only problem is that the machine cannot be found on Earth. And Reed eagerly responds.
Where is it? We must have it.
The Watcher then explains that Johnny, and Johnny alone, can reach it, because the Watcher must not participate, because that's like his thing. They can't interfere, even though he's like kind of doing a whole lot of interfering just by everything he's done so far.
Mm-hmm.
Back at Alicia's apartment, she and the Silver Surfer are arguing over the morality of destroying a planet. To the Surfer, it is nothing more than a change of energy. Nothing is being destroyed in his eyes. However, Alicia begins to plead with the Surfer that humans have hearts. They may not be as powerful as Galactus, but humans have souls. They breathe and they live. She relentlessly pleads with the Silver Surfer until he begins to crack.
Never have I ever heard words of such passion and courage. I've never known this strange feeling, this new emotion. Some races use a word that I have never understood until now. I now know beauty.
He folded under like no pressure.
Immediately.
She was
She's
like,
you're hot.
she was like, hey, I want to live. And he's like,
Yeah. I mean, he's not like fully folding yet, but he's getting there.
Yeah.
Alicia begins to have hope that the Silver Surfer is changing his mind about humans, but he stops her and says,
Say no more. Do not continue to build hope. I am what I must be. I serve Galactus.
Alicia directs Silver Surfer to the window.
But look at all those people down there. Each of them with their own lives, their own happiness, their own will to live. Each of them are human.
Human. What could that word mean to such as me?
But shortly after, he begins to feel pity for the people in the streets, looking down on them as they panic in the streets, scared for their lives. We cut back to Galactus, who is making the finishing touches on his machine. But to his surprise,
My converter does not roar. Why is it not operating? My converter has not failed me in 1,000 millenniums. Why?
Galactus goes to check out why his elemental converter isn't working. When he hears a loud crack, the thing is ripping apart the top of the machine. It looks like an antenna, but it's the part of the machine that shoots out a powerful beam that drains the planet.
Whatever happens to me now, at least nobody will have to worry about the stupid machine.
Fool! I can create another one in mere minutes.
Go ahead. I'll break as many as you can make.
Then BAM! Ben hits Galactus with the beam cannon. Then Reed tells Ben.
I'll roll myself into a ball. Quick, Ben. Throw me at him.
The thing obliges.
They do about to do like a volleyball spike on him? Is that what they do? That's
pretty much, yeah. He
okay,
just
cool.
pelts Reed at him.
Sweet.
The thing obliges, then what? Reed hits Galactus while he is already off balance from Ben's attack, making him the second guy that they've hit off of a roof this week. But Galactus has control over Yeah, they just keep doing it. Anyone that shows up, they just pelt them off the roof.
Ben, he fucking loves doing this.
He does. Yeah, Ben is also like fully responsible for both of them. But Galactus has control over anti-gravity technology that allows him to recover.
That is enough. The time has come to rid myself of this putrid species. I will not be delayed any further.
Galactus then shoots a laser out of his pointer finger into the sky, summoning a weird little purple guy who's half man, half machine to come out of his floating orb.
Machine Man?
No.
Mm.
We don't linger on that dude for long, though, because we're now back with Johnny and the Watcher.
What's happening up there? They need my help. I have to go to them.
No, it would be meaningless. Your best chance at helping them is by fleeing this world.
The Watcher then holds a small device up to Johnny's forehead, which teleports him into space. But this machine isn't just meant for physical transportation. He sends Johnny back in time, ripping apart space and time to do so. He sends Johnny to the place that he needs to be. Johnny begins flying through obstacles that would kill him if he touches them. After successfully making it through, he finds himself face to face with Galactus' home planet. It is a gargantuan space station, where Johnny will find the device that they need. Going back to modern day, however, on Earth, the Fantastic Four are fighting Galactus' little guy.
Destroy them, Punisher.
Looks like Galactus got himself a watchdog. Step back, everyone. Let me take care of him.
Ben, be careful. He must be stronger than what he looks. Why else would Galactus summon him? Sue, keep a force field ready. We may be needing it.
The group gets into a giant fight. They're struggling at first, but eventually, boom! Ben lands a big hit on this guy, but it hardly phases him. As he goes to return with a punch of his own, Reed stretches his body around him, and Ben hits him again. Why? It seems like the group is winning, until Galactus' watchdog begins to vibrate so fast that he knocks everybody off of him.
Here, Ben. Quickly! While you still have a chance!
Invisible Girl created a force field that she is dragging Reed into, but the little purple guy is hitting Ben so fast he can't even get a second to get away.
Oh, I hear you talking, Susie.
Exactly 2 seconds later, which is specified in the comic.
Really?
The three are safe within. Yeah, it is. It literally says exactly 2 seconds later. No, it says exactly 2 seconds later, word for word.
Oh, perfect.
Exactly 2 seconds later, the three are safe within one of Invisible Woman's force fields. The purple guy begins to wail at the force field. Ben feels like he's recovered enough and is trying to convince Susie to let him fight, but Mr. Fantastic says,
Wait, Ben. They don't know how long Sue can hold her force fields. Just wait.
Eventually, Galactus decides enough is enough, and he heads back to the ship.
You was right. That little runt is leaving. Ignore that, Ben. Our main worry is Galactus. We can't let him activate his energy converter. He's so powerful, with weapons we've never seen before. How do you stop this? There's always a chance, darling. As long as we're alive, there's always a chance.
Yeah, well, how much longer do you think that'll be?
Despite how grim things are starting to look, we shift back to the Silver Surfer and Alicia. It seems as if she has broken through his shell.
Are her hands still on his face?
I don't think so, no. I think at this point she's felt what she needs to feel.
It's kind of insane that they're still... they're still...
No, they're still
talking.
going back and forth. This, yeah.
This is awesome.
But at this point, she's definitely started to crack through a little bit. And the Silver Surfer has started to care about humans a little bit.
Okay. Perhaps for the first time, I have found something worth protecting. Even if it means going to battle with my master.
He summons his board, and he flies out the window. The Watcher observes the Surfer, and he is taken back by surprise. Never before has a herald ever defied Galactus. Suddenly, he realizes that this could completely ruin his plan.
Oh no. Without meaning to, the Silver Surfer may be responsible for the Earth's destruction.
And that's the end of that issue.
And there we go. He's freaking out. The Watcher's losing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, things are building up in this one, dude.
I love how comical this is, even though it is so dire.
Yeah, no, it's great. I like Galactus' little purple guy.
Yeah, just randomly.
It-
What is he?
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to put a picture of him up right now, right here, so if you're
Yeah.
watching this on YouTube, you can see what he looks like. I don't know what he looks like, so I can't wait to see that.
Yeah, you'll figure it out.
I'll figure it out.
He looks funny. He kind of looks like a real stubby Kang.
Stubby King. Is it King?
A little bit. No, it's Punisher.
Is it Puck? Did they dress up Puck?
No, he's too tall.
Puck in a kung
Nah, he's too tall.
Too tall. Shit.
Yeah, too tall. Too tall for Puck.
He's a Wolverine.
Could be. He gets his ass whooped all the time in those early days.
Yeah, no, Wolverine gets the ass whooped all the time.
But alright. Next, we've got issue 50. The startling saga of the Silver Surfer. We start issue 50 by getting straight into the action. Silver Surfer flies right up to Galactus and the Fantastic Four, and he tells Galactus,
Master, I have realized the dreadful enormity of your plans. You must not continue to tamper with other worlds. You cannot destroy the human race.
You would hesitate before stepping upon an anthill. These pitiful creatures mean nothing to Galactus.
These people are not ants. They think, they feel. They have built the primitive civilization that you see around you.
I've heard enough. Your plea is pathetic. Now leave me.
The Fantastic Four are pretty useless right now. They're just sitting inside of Invisible Girl's force field watching everything that's going on. Silver Surfer declares that he finally has something to fight for. Then he flies towards Galactus head-on, challenging him to a fight. The Surfer charges up energy from his hands and launches it right at Galactus.
Energy bolts directed at me. It's unthinkable. You have traveled the cosmos with me. You have witnessed my power, and yet you choose to defy me?
I have never betrayed you. I have been betraying myself for all these years by partaking in the annihilation of planets, Master. Let us have this world.
Galactus doesn't respond, so Silver Surfer surrounds him with a hardened crystallized cocoon. It is made up of ethereal energy. He does this to only temporarily stop the Devourer of Worlds, because he doesn't want to hurt him. Silver Surfer still feels a certain level of loyalty to him. The cocoon hardens, and a silence falls over the battlefield, and the FF stand there in suspense and awe.
Reed, what just happened?
From the looks of it, the Silver Surfer just imprisoned Galactus in a shell of pure energy. It's better than anything that overrated Watcher has done so far.
The group slowly approaches the cocoon.
Let's see if it's as strong as it looks. I've never seen nothing like it before. Ben, don't. We know nothing about this yet. Oh, relax, Stretcho. What's there to know?
Ben reaches his hand forward and touches the giant structure. When zip!
Yeah!
Ben pulls his hand back as fast as he can. Reed gives Ben an I told you so, while Sue points out that something is happening to the shell. Reed notices it too, and he yells.
Everyone get back. It's beginning to shatter.
Suddenly, a huge ball of energy erupts from the shell, resembling that of a small planet.
It wasn't strong enough to contain Galactus. He's breaking free. You think we needed you to tell us that?
If the Silver Surfer is powerless against him, then what chance do we have?
Galactus' hand reaches out of the cocoon, peeling it back, as he's breaking free, and he says,
Where is my herald?
Here, Galactus, but I am no longer your herald.
Silver Surfer dives down on Galactus, shooting him with more energy beams. He's giving Galactus everything he's got, but nothing is phasing this giant cosmic entity.
You have served me well in the past, and you shall do so again. I am an eternal being. Time means nothing to me. I can afford to be patient. Can you not see how easily I can nullify your attacks? Now, rebellious one, it is time that I teach you consequences of defying your master.
Galactus begins to hurl a meteor shower out of his fingertips, directly at Silver Surfer. While doing so, he gives the Surfer the option to swear allegiance to him once again.
And yet, You destroy planets with no sense of misgiving.
You speak of me as though I am a monster. Do not the humans that you pointlessly defend also slay lesser beings in the name of sustenance? Galactus does no less.
Damn, he's got a
The
point.
Watcher arrives. He does have a point,
got a
dude.
point.
He's spitting. He's spitting right now.
That's a really good
He's just
rebuttal.
he's just
really
eating.
good rebuttal.
Yeah, like to him, he's just eating. Like it's just
Yeah,
he
that-
needs food.
We eat cows.
Yeah. We eat cows.
Yeah.
The Watcher arrives by the side of the Fantastic Four and begins to ponder.
How could the Silver One convince his former master? Galactus is not evil. He is beyond such things as good and evil. He does what he must. He is Galactus.
Oh, great. At a time like this, Baldy turns into a philosopher.
You speak too quickly, mortal. One must assess a problem before combating it.
Mr. Fantastic chimes in.
What about Johnny? Where did you send him?
The Watcher explains that he sent Johnny to retrieve a device that will defeat Galactus, and Reed is beyond relieved. He asks the Watcher what they can do in the meantime, and he replies,
Do as I do. Stand and observe. Try to fathom the cataclysmic events that happened before you, for they may never happen again.
The Watcher goes on to explain that he doesn't purely observe out of a lack of care. He actually admires the human race quite a bit. Even as they speak, he is mentally linked with the Human Torch, guiding him through the cosmos. Speaking of Johnny, he is almost back to Earth now. The Watcher guides him through a wormhole, past an assortment of cosmic obstacles, back to his universe.
I'm back. The Watcher really did it. He led me back home. He brought me through infinity. Hey, it's the kid. He's okay. Johnny? Oh, thank heavens. Johnny, what did you bring back? Where is it?
Yeah, all Reed cares about is
Yeah, he doesn't
the
give a
thing
fuck.
that
dude.
Johnny brings back.
He isn't it like he's like he's so smart. He's like very negligible to like a lot of things.
Sometimes it depends on how he's written. It depends on how they write him. Sometimes,
But in the
like,
'60s, I feel
oh,
was this basically how I'm assuming this is just how he was like
Yeah.
straight to the point
yeah,
kind of guy.
he's straight to the point. Yeah. It was slightly delayed, but eventually the cosmic dread set in for Johnny. He collapsed to the floor before being caught by Susan and Reed. Lying in their arms, he begins to mentally break.
I traveled through worlds, so big, so grand. I don't have any words. The kid's in shock, Reed. We're like ants, just ants. Ants, tiny little specks. Easy, Johnny. Try not to remember it. This must be a device that you brought back.
Yeah, dude, this kid's freaking out, and he's like reaching in his pockets,
he's-
like, "Is this what we need?"
Feeling like an existential like crisis of like we mean
Dude,
like
he just
we're nothing
witnessed
in
Yeah,
in the
he-
grand scheme of the universe, and Reed's like, that's great and all, but like, did you get the shit, dude?
He just witnessed infinity, and his mind is fractured. The whole time. Like he's freaking out, and he's like, "Hey, wait, did you bring the thing back?" And then he's collapsed, and he's saying all this shit. And
It
he's like,
must be
"Cool,
the
is this
thing.
what we need?"
Is that the thing? Is
Yeah. All right. So Reed grabs a small silver device that looks similar to a remote. Meanwhile, the Watcher assures the group that Johnny will recover from this, and the memory of that event will eventually fade. He looks up to the Watcher and asks,
Is this the weapon we need?
Yes, that device contains the proper alien elements.
Meanwhile, Susan is trying to coax Johnny back to sanity.
It's alright, Johnny. You're back home. Everything is okay now. You're where you belong.
Reed begins to tinker with the weapon when the Watcher warns him.
Never turn the control lever to full power. It could erase the entire solar system in milliseconds.
What the fuck? What?
Yeah, oh yeah, dude.
Dude.
It's no joke. Back to the fight between Galactus and Silver Surfer. Galactus is surprised with the power of his former herald. However, he is still confident that he can kill the Silver Surfer at any moment. They argue back and forth as they fire a constant barrage of attacks at each other. Galactus finally raises his fist and declares,
By my hand, the Silver Surfer must perish.
Suddenly, Mr. Fantastic stretches out his hand in front of Galactus, pointing the weapon at him.
No, Galactus. It is you who will perish.
What? In the ultimate nullifier, in the hands of a mortal.
Galactus demands that Reed puts down the device. He warns Reed that the universe will be destroyed if he uses it, but Reed says,
And should the universe crumble, what would be left of Galactus?
Galactus turns to the Watcher.
This was your doing. You have given a match to a child who lives in a tinderbox.
I agree. However, this world belongs to these so-called children. Are my actions not just?
The two go back and forth for a little while. The Watcher tries to convince Galactus to leave this planet. However, Galactus argues that he needs to eat this world in order to survive. The Watcher then says,
There are other planets, Galactus. The universe is endless. Destroying an entire race is not the answer.
I grow wary of this conflict. The fight is not worth the reward. Have the humans surrender the weapon, and I shall leave this wretched planet.
The Watcher reassures Reed that Galactus will stand by his word, and tells Reed to give up the Ultimate Nullifier. So Reed does exactly that. He hands over the weapon, and Galactus sticks to his word. However, he has one more thing he has to do before leaving the planet. He shoots red lasers out of his eyes directly at the Silver Surfer and says,
Since you will no longer be my herald, I will strip you of your space-time powers. From this point forward, the Silver Surfer shall roam the galaxies no more.
With those words, Galactus transforms into a raging fury of pure power. The very atoms in the air begin to crackle in elemental disarray. Galactus declares that he is now departing. He warns the Fantastic Four to look away, because they will not be able to comprehend such dimensional displacement. As he begins to glow and vibrate, an enormous whoosh erupts from the roof of the Baxter building, and after just a few seconds, Galactus has left Earth.
He's gone. Galactus, the Watcher, all Galactus' machinery, it's all gone, as if nothing ever happened.
The FF try to collect themselves after the unfathomable events that just took place, wondering if anyone else in the world will know how close it came to ending. And as they talk, the Thing says,
I wonder what happened to that weird Silver guy.
and right behind him, he hears a voice that says,
I am here. If you feel that I am to blame for today's catastrophe, I am deeply remorseful.
Whoa. Hey, what's wrong with you? Sneaking up on me like that? Don't you know any better?
What is it that is truly troubling you, my friend?
Quit talking so nice. Can't you see I'm trying to dislike you?
They are interrupted by Alicia. The Thing questions how she got here so quickly, but he's not too worried about that. He says,
You don't gotta worry about me, baby. You should know that Alicia?
She runs right past Ben and walks up to the Silver Surfer. She feels his face, again, to make sure that it's him, and congratulates him for successfully battling Galactus. As they talk, the Thing begins to think to himself.
She doesn't know that I'm here.
As Alicia and the Silver Surfer talk, the Thing becomes increasingly more upset and jealous. But he's not angry. He questions why Alicia would even want to be with him in the first place.
He talks like a poet and she's listening to it like it's the first time she's ever heard a guy talk. Face it, ugly. It ain't no contest.
Ben walks away, and shortly after, Alicia asks the Surfer where the others are, where Ben is. Silver Surfer explains that Ben just left, and Alicia tries to run after him, calling his name, but he doesn't get a response. The Surfer, now alone on the rooftop, comes to the conclusion that he was born to soar the stars, and that's exactly what he intends to do. He hops on his board, and he flies off.
Yeah.
And that is the end of the coming of Galactus.
Woo!
It just ends with Ben getting cooked.
Yeah. He has to be a sad guy at the end of every single story.
It is really sad, actually. He just kind of mopes and walks off. He's just like, because he's not even like mad about anything. He's
Wow,
like, I
need
get
this
it.
shit.
He just like, he looks over and he's like, I get it. And he just leaves.
He's like, yeah, he's cooler than me, I guess.
I would say from reading this, holds up way better than I thought it was going to.
Yeah.
It's,
Well,
it's actually pretty damn good.
no, it doesn't at all, dude. It's only because of our transcription that it's even cool.
Obviously, dude.
Yeah.
I made it so much better than Stan Lee did.
I think this is great.
No, it's great. I love it. I really love this one. It definitely gets me more excited for the movie.
Oh yeah, this is gonna be great. I'm
Yeah,
really excited.
no,
'Cause the movie. I mean, I'm assuming it's gonna pretty much follow this format. I mean,
If it does, it's gonna be great. I mean, scrolls are established already. I mean, it's a new universe
Yeah.
actually. So, I mean, I'm excited. If I see a single Inhuman though, it's a terrible movie.
Yeah, no, we're not seeing Inhumans
If
in
I
there.
see an Inhuman in that
I
movie, I'm gonna lose it.
I do hope that they kind of stick to some of this because a lot of this is really good.
Yeah.
I hope we get like 17 bug analogies throughout that movie.
Oh, whoever the
I gotta hear
what's that guy's
I gotta
name?
hear him being compared to
Joseph Quinn.
gnats, ants.
If
Yeah,
he isn't
Joseph Quinn.
keeled
I need to
over
hear him
on the
talk about it
ground
all.
screaming about ants like I just did,
Yep.
what is he doing? What is he doing?
One thing that I did love from reading this, because we've talked about it before, of why every Fantastic Four movie with Silver Surfer in it, there has to be like a Johnny and Silver Surfer chase scene. There is kind of one in here.
You have to do it.
But
It's one of the
it's
coolest moments in that Silver Surfer movie. It's great.
yeah, but it's way less cool than in the movie. Johnny just flies up and Silver Surfer just like jukes him, and that's it.
That's
And then
awesome.
Johnny's like, "What the hell just happened?" But they do kind of have that. I thought that was kind of cool to see. Of like, oh, so it did come from somewhere in these movies. Like
Yeah.
Johnny is usually the one that will find Silver Surfer when he gets to Earth, and I think that's cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's cool.
But yeah, that was Coming of Galactus.
That was the
I
Coming of
hope you guys
Galactus.
liked it.
Hopefully,
I hope it
this
was
gave
entertaining.
everyone a good understanding of what the story was like. I mean, this is our second time doing this, so
Yep.
maybe we're not the best at this, but we're learning.
We're getting there. Yeah, we're trying to improve. If anyone's still watching by now, first, I love you and thank
I
you.
love you
And
too.
second,
I love you more, actually.
let us. Okay, whatever, dude.
Yeah.
But let us know if you guys want anything, like anything we could do better or not, whatever, Any
Yeah.
little
And we
criticism, I'll
will
take it.
probably continue to. Well, we started doing polls today. We'll probably continue
Yep.
to do those because I think it's kind of fun to kind of gauge what people like and don't like and have like
Yeah,
fun
but
little
also
quizzes
by the
about Marvel
time,
stuff because we want to pretty much it's just spreading information about this little hobby that we have that we love so much about. We just want to spread it to more people that don't have access to
yep,
like buying this like comics and stuff, and it's cool.
yeah, it's great. Well, I hope you enjoyed anyone who listened.
Yeah.
That is all from us.
Bye
Bye
bye.
bye.